Lies of P is an upcoming action Souls-like video game loosely based in the world of Pinocchio and is being developed by Round8 Studio and published by Neowiz. The project was announced in 2021 and has kept positive momentum and marketing throughout the year. It's a title that came out of nowhere and already is making a name for itself, so let's break down the reveal, when we should expect the game to release, and more. As always, all the sources will be linked in the description below, so make sure to check those out and support those original writers. And with that out of the way, let's get into everything we know about Lies of P. Moving on, the reveal trailer was released in May of 2021. It's been said that this trailer serves as a prequel to the events in-game and sets up the story. We get our first look at the city of Krat, and sets up Mr. Geppetto creating our character Pinocchio, which all leads into the mystery of the city. The trailer announced the game is developed using Unreal Engine 4 and will release for PC, the PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series S/X systems. The official description from the studio says, quote, "As the puppet mechanoid Pinocchio, you will wind your way through the streets of a ruined city, crafting weapons from the materials you find in the world, and interacting with the remaining few who managed to survive in this pre-industrial hellscape. The more you lie, the more human you become, with all the advantages and disadvantages that it entails. A richly detailed crafting system, profound narrative choices, and deeply customizable character progression round out the RPG features in Lies of P." And the description says a lot. It says the game will have RPG features, which will hopefully allow multiple different ways to play the game and add a lot of replay value. They tease a lying mechanic, which adds advantages and disadvantages as our character becomes more human, and it all sounds very promising if the team can deliver. The development director released a statement addressing the team adapting the Pinocchio story and said, quote, "Lies of P is the accumulation of our dreams and our nightmares. It's definitely a version of this classic story that you've never seen before. To us, Pinocchio has always been a grimly dark tale of the lies we tell to get by in a world that's not always black and white." And for the most part, that covers everything from the reveal. The team stayed quiet for the next few months and released more lore through the website and tweets. So let's continue on and cover the lore of the game, which I would argue is one of the most interesting things about this title. On the official website, the team states how the game will start. It says, quote, "You wake up at an abandoned train station in Krat, a city overwhelmed by madness and bloodlust. In front of you lies a single note that reads, 'Find Mr. Geppetto. He's here in the city. Play as Pinocchio, a puppet mechanoid, and fight through everything in your path to find this mystery person. But don't expect any help along the way, and don't make the mistake of trusting anyone. You must always lie to others if you hope to become human.'" So sometime between the events of the first trailer and the start of this game, Mr. Geppetto has gone missing, and it's up to the protagonist to find him. The team added another aspect of the story in a tweet from September of 2021, which says, quote, "Guide Pinocchio and experience his unrelenting journey to become human. Experience interconnected procedural quests that play out depending on how you lie. These choices will then affect how the story ends." And with procedural generated quests, that really means that everyone's journey in the game from the start to finish will really vary, especially if the team is saying the choices will change the ending. I like this concept, and I think it works so well with the story of Pinocchio, especially if lying is a mechanic. It's very smart, and I hope it's implemented well. And the last important lore that was released was a tweet that discussed why there are so many of these mechanical dolls in the city. The post says, quote, "It's hard to tell now, but Krat has seen rapid growth thanks to the invention of puppets. Machine dolls manufactured in Krat replaced a large portion of human labor, enough for them to take control of the city eventually." And this will make sense when we cover the gameplay trailer, and I'm sure we will get more answers about the puppets once the game releases. The next collection of stories are from the pre-alpha gameplay teaser that was released in November of 2021. And what an amazing trailer. As someone who watches a lot of video game trailers for this channel, the Lies of P gameplay teaser is a step above the rest. It really shows off a variety of areas in the world and the mechanical enemies that inhabit the areas, along with the same voice line from the story trailer telling Pinocchio to wake up. Then it's a montage of the protagonist holding a variety of weapons and using his mechanical arm to create buffs and attack enemies. All while this great music plays, and the gameplay is very reminiscent of Souls-like games, but with their own twist on it. When IGN reposted the trailer, they included a 2023 release window, which was reported on by other outlets, which was then corrected, and the release window has since changed to TBD or to be determined. It's funny because a few weeks later, the team responded to a fan on Twitter and said that while they don't have an exact release date yet, they expect a release sometime between 2022 and 2023. And at the time of recording, the game could release this year or next, but most likely next. Around this time as well, the team said they had no plans to hold a demo for the game before release, but that could change. Pinocchio will not be able to wear a helmet or anything wearable on their head currently. And the game is not considering a release on Google Stadia or any other cloud gaming options, but the team says they might release the game on the last generation of consoles, which include the PS4 and Xbox One. And the last story I want to mention here is that the game is being developed as single player only, which isn't too surprising. Usually these types of games are single player only, and it is what it is. The team then did 2 interviews with gaming publications and gave additional details on the project. The first interview I want to cover is from Kotaku. The team starts by addressing how this game is a Souls-like title. They say it will be a Souls-like in terms of the difficulty level and death penalty in-game. They explain further and say the game will utilize a checkpoint system similar to bonfires, but will use an original mechanic. A few behind-the-scenes development details were given. Round8 had finalized the concept and setting in June of 2020 and started development shortly after. And at the time of recording, we are closing in around 2 years of development so far. And the team said they have completed 50% of the base content, but say in terms of the entire development timeline from start to finish, they are probably only 30% finished overall. Continuing on, Pinocchio's mechanical arm is expanded on. It's referred to as the slave arm and will be customizable with 8 different tools, including the grappling hook seen in game. As a side note, 2 close-up images were released by the team as well. One included the grappling hook and the other looks like a drill. One other potential oversight is when the team made a tweet with the images of the arm. They say Lies of P will have 5 different sub-weapons, which seems to be in reference to the arm, but the Kotaku article mentions 8. Also, the Kotaku article came out after this tweet was made, so I'm not sure what this means and I'll leave it up to you guys to decide, but somewhere between 5 to 8 different ways to utilize this arm. One of the most interesting pieces of information from this interview is that Lies of P will include a weapon building system. The direct quote says, "Every weapon in the game can be split between its damage dealing ends, blades for sharp weapons and heads for blunt weapons, and its hilt. Choi promises over 30 base weapons that can be mixed and matched in this way, allowing folks to experiment with the various combinations and find one that matches their style. Pinocchio's stats can also be upgraded, providing further customization to how players approach battles. And once again, if this is implemented correctly, it will be amazing." And the last comment I want to discuss, and potentially the most important, has to do with Pinocchio's nose and if it will grow when he lies. The team said no because they wanted him to look cool, but they are implementing this idea somewhere else. They can't say yet because the plans aren't solid. It's not that important, but definitely a valid question, and I'm curious to see how this plays out. The article also says the game is tentatively scheduled to release in 2023. And the final interview is from Famitsu. Let me start by saying this article was originally in Japanese and has been translated using Google Translate, so not all the translations will be great, but we will continue on anyways and try to get some of the larger points. Moving on to the first question was whether the game is being designed going back and forth between areas, or if it will be a stage clear type game. The team said it will be a stage clear type game, but with open world elements. Areas will change with the weather system in game and will impact the events that will appear in the world. So if you do return to the same areas, there will be interesting reasons to do so. When asked about the weapon system, the developer says the weapon combining system aims to eliminate unnecessary weapons, which will allow you to bring the best parts from old weapons while removing the bad parts from the best weapons. Over 30 types of weapons are said to be in the game, and with all the different combinations, there should be over 100. It's already been confirmed there will be skill progression in game, but this interview broadens that further and says the skill system will be branched based on different fighting styles, and the player will be able to find a combat system that suits different playstyles. The game, when completely finished, is expected to be around 30 hours. So far, the developers say the first 2 stages take around 5 hours to complete, so expect around 12 stages using that logic. And in terms of the multiple different endings, the team says there will be at least 3 endings, and there could be more than 10 different bosses across the entire game. Obviously, the game is still relatively early in development, so this number could change drastically, but I would expect the game to be between 20 and 30 hours when it launches. Finally, the team says they are testing a unique way to customize our character with accessories and costumes, and the appearance of the character will change as the game progresses. I assume the team is being coy here, and there is more to this system than what they are willing to talk about currently, but expect some form of character customization and our character changing as the game progresses. And that is everything worthwhile from the Famitsu article. The team has promised more news and information for the title in 2022. I expect a release in 2023, and I assume a last generation announcement will be made as well for the PS4 and Xbox One. I hope this game lives up to expectations and has the depth and mechanics the team is trying to create. Either way, that's where I'm going to end this video, and that is everything we know about Lies of P. Make sure to like and share, subscribe for weekly gaming news, and I will see you guys in the next one.